Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Strong Yoga for Small Spaces. Today we're going to be working with the back, the shoulders and the arms to develop the sort of strength that's necessary, not just for daily posture, but also to develop stability in the core and to help you progress in your yoga practice at home. So we'll start as usual in an easy, comfortable seat. Maybe that's cross-legged, maybe bring a block underneath the base of the tailbone, or maybe simply sit back on the heels of the feet. And we'll begin by bringing the palms of the hands to the knees and softening the eyelids closed. Take some time to tune into the pace and the quality of your inhalations and exhalations. Inviting a little bit more breath into the body, drawing that energy, that oxygen all the way down to the lower belly. And every time you exhale, see if you can begin to allow the shoulders to drop down and away from the ears, and gently draw the belly button back towards the spine. Begin to find that core engagement that we'll be using today in our practice. And we'll take a few rounds of breath all together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. So if you have a block beneath the base of the tailbone, now would be the time to just take that out and place that to one side. We'll begin with a nice easy side stretch through the body, inhaling to float the arms up and overhead, connecting the palms and maybe raising the gaze toward the thumbs if it feels comfortable for the neck. And exhale, drop the right fingertips down to the earth. Inhale, lift up and over. Maybe raise the gaze toward the left fingertips. Keep rolling that left shoulder away from the ear and grounding down through the left seat bone. Inhale, gently find your way back through center, grounding down evenly. Inhale to lift up and over to the opposite side. So try to stay as long as possible through both sides of the waist. Try not to collapse into the left side of the body. Take one more inhale. And exhale, gently find your way back to center. We're going to cross the ankles over in front and find our way onto our hands and knees for tabletop position. Stacking the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips, grounding down through the tops of the feet. So firstly, press down through the palms of the hands and the knees to find that lift in the core and the chest that we need. Keep checking in with your belly. Make sure that that navel is hugging back toward the spine to keep the core engaged. We'll begin with cat-cow, inhaling to drop the belly down, lifting the gaze and lifting the tailbone. Exhaling to tuck the tailbone under, drop the head and neck between the upper arms. Inhale as you find your way forward, squeeze the shoulder blades toward one another, begin to fire up the back here, reach the chest forwards. And exhale, press through the palms, round through the spine, soften the gaze toward the navel. One more time, inhale, drop the belly down, fire up the back, squeeze the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale one more time. See if you can lift the back of the heart space any closer toward the sky. Press actively through the palms of the hands. And gently find your way back to a neutral spine. We're going to stay with this wave-like motion with the spine and with the breath, walking the hands a little bit further forwards. And as you inhale this time, drop the pelvis down to the ground, hug the elbows toward the ribs. Exhale, drop the forehead to the earth. Inhale, press down through the palms, peel the chest from the earth, rise to your cobra pose, and exhale, sink the hips back to the heels of the feet. Child's pose, keep the arms active by lifting the elbows, drop the forehead to the earth. Again with the breath, inhale to rise, coming all the way through your tabletop position, exhaling to hug the elbows in, soften the forehead to the earth. Inhale, press into the palms, squeeze the elbows toward one another, lift the chest, and exhale, sink the tailbone back to the heels of the feet. Pressing down through the palms, inhale, rise through tabletop. Exhale, drop the pelvis, hug the elbows in, soften the forehead to the earth. One more time. Inhale, press down through the palms, peel the chest up. Exhale, sink the hips back to the heels. And we'll find our way forwards again. Inhaling to lift up. Exhale, drop the pelvis down and hug the elbows in. Now this time, instead of using the pressure in the hands, we're going to use the strength in the back to lift the chest. So as you inhale, start to squeeze the elbows in towards one another, either side of the ribs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, either side of the spine, and hug the core back. Now see if you can, as you inhale, peel the chest from the ground and hover the hands off of the earth. So you're not using any strength in the hands to find your way higher. Any lift that you get here is all coming from the back and the core strength. So just stay lifted here for another couple of rounds of breath. The elbows should feel like they're lifting up in space, but not so much that the shoulders cramp up around the ears. Stay long through the neck for one more inhale. And exhale, drop the palms, release the forehead down. Maybe shake out the hips from side to side. We'll take that same posture once more. So begin by squeezing the elbows toward one another. Shoulder blades reach down the back. Inhale, peel the chest from the earth and hover the hands just here beneath the shoulders. Take a few rounds of breath. Don't neglect your core here. Even though we're relaxing the belly against the earth, it should still feel like that Uddiyana Bandha is engaged here, lifting the navel up towards the spine, up toward the rib cage. Take one more inhale. And exhale, drop the palms, release the forehead. Maybe shake out through the back here, because this does target the lower back as well, this movement here. And one more time, adding on. Inhale, squeeze the elbows and the shoulder blades together. Lift the chest off of the earth, hover the hands. And if you want to add on this time, option to lift the legs, kicking the inner thighs and the heels toward one another, and extending the arms forwards in space. So keep that core engaged and move with the breath if you would like. As you exhale, hugging the elbows back. Inhale, re-extend the arms. Exhale, hug the elbows back. Inhale, re-extend the arms 3 more times. Exhale, really squeeze the shoulder blades and the elbows back and together. Inhale, re-extend 2 more. Exhale, squeeze the elbows and the shoulders back. Inhale, re-extend. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. 1 more time. Exhale, squeezing back. Inhale, reach forwards. And exhale, bring the palms back down underneath the shoulders. Release the feet to the earth. Inhale this time, see if you can press down through the palms to lift up a little bit taller. Keep a light micro bend in the elbows. And exhale, we're just going to twist around to one side, turning the gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist and look over to the opposite side. And finally, inhale, come back to center. And exhale, sink the hips to the heels. Come all the way down into your child's pose. Release through the entire back body here. So make sure that the arms stay active. You can do so by coming up onto the tips of the fingers and tenting through the hands if that feels nice. Forehead can release down to the earth and just take that stretch all the way down the back. Every time you inhale, see if you can invite the breath a little bit deeper down, all the way towards the base of the tailbone. And planting the palms flat, start to lift up here until the hips stack on top of the knees. Lower legs come parallel to one another, and walk the palms of the hands a little bit further forwards in space so that you can begin to drop the chest down to the earth for your puppy pose. So you can bring the chin to the earth here and send the gaze all the way out in front. If that feels uncomfortable for the neck, you're welcome to drop the forehead to the earth, or maybe bring the forehead onto a block or a book. And eventually what we're working towards here is dropping the chest as close to the earth as possible. So you should start to feel that stretch a little bit deeper in the shoulders and in the upper back in particular. Wherever you're at here, take one more breath. And then start to shift the weight of the body forward. So check in with the alignment in the arms here. The forearms should be parallel to one another. Come forwards until the shoulders stack above the elbows, and then tuck the toes and pop the knees off the ground for your forearm plank. So see if you can relax here for a few rounds of breath. Feel free to sway from side to side or forwards and backwards. Just shift that weight around. But watch out to make sure that the hips aren't super high or collapsing down towards the earth. See if you can stay energized through the heels of the feet and the backs of the legs. And keep pressing down through the elbows to keep the torso lifted. Otherwise it will start to collapse down here between the upper arms. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, start to walk the feet a little bit closer toward the face. And see if you can begin to press the chest back in space toward the thighs for your dolphin pose. So this is a variation on downward facing dog, but you should feel the shoulders working a lot harder for you here, particularly as you try to keep the forearms parallel to one another. And if it's too much here, you're welcome to bring a deep bend into the knees. Sometimes that can help you to press the upper body a little bit further back in space. So we're aiming to press the chest toward the thighs, lifting the base of the tailbone up toward the sky. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, start to press down into the palms of the hands. Lift all the way up to your downward facing dog. So spreading the fingers wide. Index fingers come parallel to the long edges of the mat. And we're grounding down through the knuckles at the base of the fingers. Soften the gaze toward the tips of the toes or up toward the knees. And see if you can shift the weight back toward the heels of the feet so that your shoulders aren't reaching up around the ears. And we'll take some half sun salutations here. So rippling with the spine and with the breath. Inhale to find your way forwards to high plank position. Exhale, drop the knees. Now instead of coming straight down, we're going to take some yoga push-ups. Hug the elbows in toward the ribs and exhale, drop down. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, drop down. Inhale, press back up. Keep the core engaged. Exhale, down. This time, slide the feet out. Inhale, lift the chest, cobra pose. And exhale, tuck the toes underneath. Lift the hips up and back. Pedal out into your downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Keep hugging the lower ribs toward one another. Navel up and back. Spiraling the biceps up toward the sky and the triceps down toward the earth. Keep plenty of space between the ears and the shoulders. One more breath. On your next inhale, start to roll through the spine. Find your way forwards. High plank position. Drop the knees to the earth. 3 more yoga push-ups. Exhale, drop down. Keep hugging the elbows in. Inhale, press back up. Engage the core. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press back up. One more time. Exhale, release down. Inhale, press back up. And this time, exhale, release down. Release the feet. Inhale, press into the palms. Peel the chest up. And exhale, tuck the toes. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Soften in. So every time you find your way back to your down dog, see if you can even out the pace of the breath. So we're finding our way back to an equal length of inhale and exhale. And we'll take one more round here, inhaling to roll through the spine. Find your way forwards, plank position. Exhale, drop the knees and lower all the way down. Inhale, press back up. 2 more times. Exhale, lower down. Press back up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press back up. Last one. Exhale, lower down. Release the feet. Inhale, press into the palms. Lift up to your cobra pose. And exhale, tuck the toes. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. So see if you can find some stillness now in your downward dog. Hopefully the entire back body should be feeling a little bit more open. See if you can tilt the tailbone up toward the sky. We're going to find our way forwards to plank position again. Inhaling to roll forwards, stacking the shoulders above the wrists. And really see if you can press down through the palms of the hands. Find some lift, kick back through the heels of the feet. Keep the core engaged. Head and neck in line with the rest of the spine. And we'll take it to a side plank, rolling onto the outer edge of the right foot. Sweeping the left arm up, maybe raising the gaze toward the left fingertips, only if it feels comfortable for the neck. And exhale, drop that left palm back down. We'll find our way to the opposite side. Inhale, sweep the right fingertips up. Raise the gaze if it feels comfortable for the neck. Keep pressing that right hip up toward the sky. And exhale, drop the right hand back down. Soften the knees to the earth. Hug the elbows in. And release the arms to the sides of the body. Just shake the hips from side to side for a few moments. And we're going to come into some postures next that will help to strengthen the back a little bit more. So we're starting with locust pose. So reaching back, interlacing the fingertips behind the spine. And we'll begin then by squeezing the elbows toward one another and pressing the knuckles away from the nape of the neck. So see if you can use the strength here in the back to peel the chest from the earth. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And take a few breaths here. Notice how this feels. If this is enough, stay with this variation. Otherwise, start to hug the heels of the feet and the inner thighs toward one another. And lift the legs off the ground as well. Stay here for a few breaths. Keep that core engaged as well. So try not to let the belly sort of sag down over the ground just because we're lying down. Keep the navel lifted. Belly button hugs back toward the spine. Shoulders roll away from the ears. See if you can keep the arms active as well, so the hands will want to start to drop down and chill out here on the glutes. Take one more inhale. And exhale, release the legs, release the arms, turn the gaze to one side. Maybe shake out through the hips if you're feeling that in the lower back here. Now, option to take that same posture one more time, or to add on this time by coming up into your bow pose. So we'll be bending the legs, kicking the heels of the feet toward the glutes, and reaching back for the tops of the feet with the palms of the hands. So see if you can keep your thighs parallel to one another as you find your way up. The knees tend to sort of fall out to the sides here. See if you can keep the inner thighs hugging in. So as you inhale, start to press the tops of the feet back into the palms of the hands and lift all the way up into your bow pose. So as you breathe, it might feel nice to rock a little way forwards and backwards here. This one's also great for stimulating the digestive system and the digestive organs. So every time you inhale, see if you can press a little bit more actively into the palms, lift up a little bit higher, but without letting the knees collapse out and without the shoulders becoming all tense. So keep rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, release down, arms come to the sides, and turn the gaze to the opposite side as you did last time. Maybe shaking out through the hips again, rocking from side to side. So bringing the gaze back to center, palms of the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale to press yourself up onto your knees. And we're going to play around with our camel pose from here. So stacking the hips directly above the knees, make sure that the thighs are parallel to one another. And we're going to start by bringing the palms of the hands to the lower back. So fingertips might point down toward the glutes if you're not so flexible in the wrists. Or fingertips might point up towards the shoulder blades. See if you can flatten the palms of the hands to the lower spine and press down through the lower back to lift the chest. So it should feel again like the elbows are squeezing towards one another to integrate the shoulders into this stretch. You can keep the chin tucking toward the chest if it feels more comfortable for the neck, or you can extend the head back in line with the spine. Maybe stay here, or if it feels like you can go a little bit deeper, you can try reaching down for the heels of the feet with the tips of the fingers, pressing the pelvis forwards and lifting the heart. Keep the thighs parallel for one more inhale. And as you exhale, drop the hips to the heels. Now, if you've got a hold of the heels of the feet with the palms of the hands here, it might feel nice to keep a hold of them as you drop the forehead to the earth. And just bringing a gentle pressure to the heels of the feet through the palms of the hands will help to lengthen out the lower back here. So on your next inhale, very slowly start to round on up. Nice straight spine, crossing the ankles in front. And bringing the legs all the way straight. We'll just counter stretch for a moment before we come down onto our backs. With a seated forward fold, so flexing the feet up toward the sky. Maybe keep a bend in the knees if you're tight in the hamstrings today. And we'll inhale to lift the arms up. And exhale to fold forward, so just grab a hold of wherever is accessible, depending on time of day or what sort of activity you've been doing this morning or this afternoon. It might feel tighter or looser. So just take a couple of rounds of breath wherever you're at with this one, nice and soft through the lower back. On your next inhale, gently start to roll through the spine. We'll shuffle forwards, plant the soles of the feet about hip width distance apart. See if you can bring the seat bones as close to the heels of the feet as possible. We're going to find our way down onto our backs for bridge pose, our final posture before supine twist and shavasana. So So once you find your way up into this one, or once you make your way up into this one, don't turn your head towards the screen. So I will try and cue as best as possible. We're going to bring the arms down by the sides of the body, pressing down through all four corners of the feet, and see if you can reach the heels of the feet with the tips of the fingers. That's usually a good indication that you've got the legs in the right place. So you'll notice that there might be a gap between your middle back and the ground if you have a sort of natural curve in the spine here in this position. So whether you have or you haven't, see if you can start to actively press the back flat to the earth by drawing the belly button back in space. The tailbone will then start to lift slightly from the ground. As it does so, press down through the heels of the feet. Continue to lift the pelvis, engage the backs of the legs, engage the fronts of the legs and the shoulders. So pressing down through the arms and through the feet to keep the pelvis lifted here for this back bend. So if this already feels intense, you've got the option to stay here, or you can add on with this one by interlacing the fingertips underneath the back and wrapping onto the triceps so that you can lift up a little bit taller. Keep pressing the knuckles away from the nape of the neck down toward the heels of the feet. And maybe even lift up onto the tips of the toes if that feels like a nice option. Just make sure as you do so that the knees don't start to collapse out to the sides to enable you to lift up a little bit higher. So take one more inhale here. And then exhale, drop the heels of the feet back down. Release the arms and roll through the spine one notch at a time until you come all the way back down. Hugging the knees in toward the chest. Maybe draw some nice big circles with the knees. And we'll take one final twist, opening the arms out to the sides. Exhale, start to drop the knees over to the right. Keep grounding down through the left shoulder blade. Maybe turn the gaze back toward the left fingertips. And take a few breaths here to begin to soften back into the body. So notice any muscles that are still sort of holding on to any tension or tightness. See if you can consciously, mindfully release into this shape. And then gently inhale, bring the knees all the way back to center. And exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Keep anchoring down through that right shoulder blade. Maybe turning the gaze back toward the right fingertips. Take a couple of breaths here. Allow the legs to become heavy. Maybe even begin to soften the eyelids closed. And then gently inhale, draw the knees back to center, hug them in toward the chest and ball up nice and tight, squeezing the forehead toward the knees. And then gently exhale to release all the way down into Shavasana. So sending the legs out long, feet relax a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. Arms come down by the sides of the body, palms turn up to face the ceiling. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and begin to soften the space between the eyebrows. Slacken the jaw and soften the tongue inside of the mouth. Every time you exhale, see if you can allow your body to grow a little bit heavier. Melting the shoulders, the back, the hips and the legs down into the earth. No longer controlling the breath, but simply observing the natural rhythm of your inhalations and exhalations. As always, you can stay here for as long as you'd like. If you'd like to start waking up from this one, begin by lengthening your inhalations and deepening your exhalations. Maybe reintroduce some movement to the body by bending into the fingers and toes, or circling up through the wrists and ankles. Maybe take one final full body stretch with a deep inhale to float the arms up and overhead, lengthen through the legs. And as you exhale, start to bend the knees in toward the body and curl onto one side. Take your time, move nice and slowly as you find your way back up to an easy seat. So however you began your practice now, gently returning the palms of the hands to the knees and softening the eyelids closed for another couple of rounds of breath. And we'll take one final breath together, inhaling to float the arms up, connecting the palms at the top. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center, tilt the chin toward the chest, and inhale to open your eyes. Namaste.